It was nearing the end of another spring day on the Furry railways, and on the railways, everyone was finishing their work on the day. Ginty, Jasper, and Pug had just finished organising the trucks of fish that they brought from the fishing village. Donald Duck was very impressed with their work. Soon, Ginty arrived at the ironworks. Ari and Bert were there, waiting for him. And Ginty puffed away to shunt the scrap trucks. After he shunted the trucks, he saw writing around the right side of the building. Soon, Ginty began to read them. Then, Ginty saw something that made his boiler rattle. Ari and Bert were shocked at what they heard. Just then, Pug arrived. And the two engines laughed at their own joke, but the word they weren't aware that they were using was a bad word. The next day, the engines had brought their trains to the harbour when Ginty came up. Everyone was surprised. Just then, Pug pulled up behind his friend. Toby was shocked. Ginty and Pug pulled up to Jasper. Jasper was shocked. Soon, everyone decided they had enough, and decided to leave the trains to be sorted out. Then a few minutes later, Donald arrived to give out the orders for the day. Ginty and Pug shook with fear. They knew that they were in trouble. Jasper sighed heavily. Later on, Ginty and Pug were at Vulpine Station, discussing their recent actions. After a few minutes of shunting, Ginty decided to take a rest, unaware that Pug was bumping some trucks. Ginty tried to talk after what he said, and Pug raced away to the harbour. Ginty soon caught up with Pug at a red signal. But then there was trouble. Because the two engines were racing so fast, Jessica didn't get her brake van and her goods train out of the way in time. Ginty soon raced into the harbour. Donald Duck was there too, alongside Jasper. He was checking on an order of tea sets that Atlas shunted for Sodor for Ernest to collect later. Donald eyed Ginty suspiciously. Ginty plucked up courage. Donald was now puzzled, but then a frustrated Jessica arrived with Pug on the smashed remains of her brake van, and soon Pug was lifted onto the tracks. Ginty and Pug started talking at the same time. Ginty and Pug felt disappointed, and Donald walked away to his office. Ginty and Pug were worried. Just then, Donald came back with a checklist. Donald was worried. And then, the engines and their boss raced out of the harbour as fast as they could, but no one had cleaned up the mess. Ginty and Pug laughed as they sped along the line to Vulpine Station, with Donald giving chase in his car. Soon, they arrived at Vulpine Station. Daniel and Della Duck were on the platform. Ginty, Pug, and Donald all explained the situation, swearing many times as they did so. Della Duck was surprised. And then she fainted. Everyone was shocked. Soon, Ginty and Pug were back to work at the harbour, helping Atlas clean up the mess that was made. And it was hard work with the trucks being troublesome, but they did their best. But as Della was going to get some water, she stubbed her webbed foot on the cactus. Everyone was shocked. Just then, Dennis came by with the goods train. And everyone laughed.